Greetings, fans, friends, patrons, supporters of OSSCS. My name is William White, and I am just so excited to begin my inaugural season as music director of Orchestra Seattle, Seattle Chamber Singers. The unifying theme of this, our 49th season, is introductions. Now, of course, I'm introducing myself to you as a composer, as a conductor, as a speaker, as a general personality and leader in the artistic community. But I also wanted to introduce the work of a relatively unknown composer. The composer that we're featuring is Lily Boulanger. And I wanted to do more than just spotlight one of her pieces. So what we are actually doing is putting one of her pieces on each one of our programs. We are highlighting how her music interacts with other music that is connected to her in some way or another. Now, each of the programs on this season has a certain theme to it. So for example, the first program is called The Bounty of the Earth. Now here I started with Lily Boulanger's setting of the 21st Psalm, La terre appartient à l'Éternel. The earth belongs to the Eternal One. I've paired it with music of Aaron Copland, who studied composition with Lily Boulanger's sister, Nadia Boulanger, as well as Franz Joseph Haydn in his The Seasons. We will do the autumn portion since this concert's happening on October 6th. And it will probably come as no surprise that I, as a composer, wanted to start off the season with one of my own compositions. This is a piece called Acadia Fanfare. I composed it for the 100th anniversary of Acadia National Park in the state of Maine. Now, our second concert follows barely a month after on Saturday, November 3rd, which is a mere few days before the 100th anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. So we've chosen music that looks at World War I through the ears of the composers who lived it. We have music, once again, by Lily Boulanger, a piece that she composed called Pour les funérailles d'un soldat, for the funeral of a soldier. This piece is written in 1913, so we are in the lead-up to World War I. Then we have music by Paul Hindemith. Now, Hindemith himself was a soldier in the Prussian army, and when he was a soldier, he was able to form a string quartet of his fellow soldiers. Next we have Ravel's Concerto for the Left Hand. It was written for a concert pianist named Paul Wittgenstein. Early in the war, he was posted to the Eastern Front, and he lost his right arm to a sniper's bullet. So when he came home from the war, he wanted desperately to continue his career as a concert pianist. And in order to do this, he really had to create a whole new repertoire of music for the left hand only. Also on the concert, we have music written by two Englishmen, Gustav Holst and Sir Charles Hubert Hastings Parry, are represented with choral works, the first by his Ode to Death. And then we have an a cappella choral selection called There Is an Old Belief. And then we finish the program with a piece called La Valse by Maurice Ravel. This is an orchestral work in which Ravel takes the waltz, which of course represents Vienna, and by extraction, the whole Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Habsburg Empire. The third program is OSSCS's annual production of The Messiah. We will give two performances, December 15th and 16th. This is a piece that has really defined OSSCS in the past, and yet it's something that we will try to reinvigorate, to bring a freshness and an appeal that brings it to life once again. On Saturday, February 9th, we will present a concert called Symphonies of Psalms. And this is a concert that is going to span 400 years of music. We are going to go back to some music from the early Baroque by Heinrich Schütz. And we will have music as up-to-date as possible, music by Carolyn Shaw, who was the winner of the 2013 Pulitzer Prize for Music. The anchor of this concert is, not surprisingly, Igor Stravinsky's Symphony of Psalms. It's a very intriguing work. It has no violins or violas. It has a lot of extra woodwinds. It has two pianos and harp, and of course this magnificent chorus. On the second half of the program, we present two works from the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Dvorak's setting of the 149th Psalm and Lili Boulanger's setting of the 129th Psalm, as well as one of my own pieces, a work for chorus and orchestra. It's a setting of Psalm 46 that I composed in 2011. I am re-orchestrating it, or sort of newly orchestrating it for this performance. It's going to get the full, lush orchestral treatment. I'm really looking forward to presenting that piece to you in this new version. The fifth concert of our season is really the sort of apex of our exploration of the music of Lili Boulanger. We are presenting her setting of the 130th Psalm. It's called Du fond de l'abîme, Out of the Depths. This is a remarkable piece of music. You know, one thing that's amazing about her music that she wrote only up to the age of 24, which is when she so tragically died, is that somehow she was able to combine all of the major strains of music that were happening in Europe in the early 20th century. The sensuality of the Russian composers like Stravinsky and Rachmaninoff and Rimsky-Korsakov, the impressionism of Debussy and Ravel, the bold new directions of Arnold Schoenberg and Gustav Mahler and Richard Strauss in Vienna. Somehow she combines it all, and never more so than in this piece, the Du fond de l'abîme. So in this concert, we're featuring this, really her major masterpiece, along with music of Johannes Brahms, the Tragic Overture. So there is our Out of the Depths, there's our depth. And then the Symphony in D minor by Franck. This is a piece that goes from tragedy to triumph. It's one of these symphonies in the mold of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony or the Fifth Symphony, where we're starting in the darkest minor and ending in a blaze of glory in D major. Our final concert of the regular season is called Spring Symphony. So this is all music written for springtime, for things in flower and in bloom. We began with one of Lili Boulanger's last works, an orchestral piece called D'un matin de printemps. And then we are going to feature a very intriguing work by Johannes Brahms, his Opus 17. It's for the very unusual combination of women's choir, 2 French horns, and harp. Then we will follow that by a cantata, the 31st cantata of Johann Sebastian Bach. This one is called Der Himmel lacht. The heavens are laughing. And it's an Easter cantata. It's a very bright piece. You'll hear the chorus sort of laughing in a very sprightly kind of mood. And on the second half of the concert, we feature Robert Schumann's Spring Symphony. I think that the whole season, you know, I am trying to introduce you not only to the work of Lili Boulanger on a rather deep level, but I'm guessing that there will be a number of works that will be new favorites for you, music that you haven't heard before, and then introducing familiar works with new performers, new singers, and of course with a new conductor. So again, I very much hope that you will subscribe to this season or come to any of our concerts. We would love to see you there, and I personally would love it if you would come introduce yourself to me as I present this season of introductions.